I've answered this question at least once a week for the last 27 years of my life.
Have you seriously been hiding that from us? I'm not kidding. Rick.
Yeah.
We're not kidding. Now that I said that, I probably shouldn't say any names because they're going to be offended. It made me the man I am today. You know, the struggles, the hurts.
Who are we even having this conversation right now? Like,
all right, we're here around the virtual campfire. First time we've ever done this. To my right are my guinea pigs, Sanctus Real.
Nobody told us we were guinea pigs, nor the first time.
How do you feel about this campfire situation?
I don't know. I'm done. Thanks for letting us be the guinea pigs.
yeah,
This
it's
is
toasty.
awesome.
I like it. It's very nice and cozy in here, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
So the idea here is like you guys go around all the time. You visit radio stations. You get interviewed. We don't want it to feel like that. I mean, we love to hear the story behind the song, but you get asked that a lot. So,
True.
in fact, the first question I want to ask you guys, what question are you tired of getting asked? Because I don't want to ask it.
I know
we know that
exactly.
Let's
right,
hear it.
Right off the top of my head. What does the name Sanctus Real mean? Where'd you get that? How? What is that? Yeah.
Thank you for not
It's-
answering that.
It's on Wikipedia. It's on Google. It's
Yeah.
out there. I've answered this question at least once a week for the last 27 years of my life.
Okay. That's fair. You know
So-
what? When I sit around the campfire with my friends, I don't ever ask them, where'd you get your name? So
Good point.
Right?
Not gonna happen here.
we're not going to do that today. So this is kind of an odd question, but I feel like you can learn a lot about people with this one. Do you guys collect anything, or have you ever? Is there anything like when you're on the road you try to make sure you grab?
Yeah, you know, certain cities, this is something we just talked about. If there's like a good coffee shop,
Yeah.
I'll buy a bag of coffee beans from that place and take it home. Now, that collection doesn't last very long because when I get home,
Right.
it lasts about 5 days between my wife and I.
Uh.
But yeah, coffee is something I do collect on the
Okay.
road.
I sometimes collect, the all-access passes you get at like festivals
Yeah.
or tours. You know, we get those occasionally when they let us play festivals. And so when we do, I collect those. So I've got a big grouping of them. I figure when I'm older, I'm going to be like telling my grandkids one day, I used to be cool.
Right.
Like, see, they let me in.
This is a true story. I was at an antique mall a couple weeks ago. It was Father's Day, actually. I was with my family, and there was a bin there, and they had a shoebox. I guess the guy who runs the booth used to be a photographer, and there were all these old music passes in there, shows he shot. It was so cool to look through all these like old ladies bands, and I wanted to buy them. I'm like, these aren't even mine. It's like stolen valor or something, right? Like if I have these, but it was so cool.
That would be cool. So here's something that's kind of odd. I don't think these guys even know this. They don't know that I do this.
Uh-oh.
So 2020, COVID, everybody's sitting at home and whatnot.
Yeah.
I started skateboarding again with my sons. I've got 3 boys at home, all teenage boys. House is a circus. Yeah, we're stuck at home. There's not much we can go and do, so I bought a bunch of skateboards, and we all kind of relearned for me how to ride skateboards. Well, if you're a skateboard guy, it's just kind of a thing that you have to cover the bottom of your skateboard in stickers.
Oh yeah.
So I've been collecting little stickers everywhere I go so I can put them on my skateboard when I get home. Do I sound like a 12-year-old?
No,
Did you
I
know
like
he
it.
skateboards?
Not at all. Bring it out on the road,
Have you
man.
seriously been hiding that from us? I'm not kidding. Rick.
Yeah.
We're not kidding.
That's why he's been buying
You
skater
skateboard?
shoes, I guess.
I thought the secret was that he was collecting stickers. It's that he's skateboarding. You guys didn't even know that.
Didn't even know he skateboarded.
I've seen him grab
Dude, man,
stickers at
what a-
places, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, as a kid, I grew up skateboarding and riding BMX bikes, and
Can you ollie?
I can.
Oh, shoot, man. Now we
Yeah.
gotta see it.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, I'll
We're
pull up a picture on my phone
We've like
later
been
on
together
for
for years, and I didn't know you even skateboarded.
It's a
I
shame we're in
do.
the woods right now because
I
I would love to
know.
get a skateboard.
Right.
But-
Yeah, where's
If only.
where's the half pipe?
Isn't it? I know. Man,
This is awesome.
thanks for bringing that out.
All right, good. Well, now you guys can help
I'm a
him
little
out.
hurt and happy all at the same time.
All right. This is a weird may be weird. This is a logistical question. I really, truly wonder. There's 3 guys in a band. You guys are touring across the country. How do you decide where to stop to eat?
Chris. We just let Chris decide.
Whatever he says goes.
Chris is Chris is the guy who will plan it the day, like he'll plan it out the day before, and then he'll ask us, and we're just like, but Mark. So there's been seasons where like Chris broke his toe and couldn't be out, and
True.
it's where Mark and I are literally like driving by something last minute, no plans whatsoever. That's kind of our thing. And Chris maps it out, and he's definitely, it's great actually. We don't have to worry about that.
So you have to decide in advance what you're going to eat?
No, he does. We're just like, hey, do whatever you want, man.
Okay.
There's a lot of there's a method to the madness. There's a lot of madness on the road, and we try to eat healthy on the road.
We do.
So sometimes finding things or planning for it is important, because you'll be doing an interview and then you'll be going to sound check, and then next thing you know, like, oh, we didn't eat or whatever. But yeah, it's not like we have to go do this or do that, but when you're on a tight schedule, you have to plan your stops. Like when you're on a family vacation, it's like you don't want to make multiple stops because everybody wants something different. You want to kind of know. So I guess that's true.
I like the idea of planning ahead, because this is truth with my family. I'm always convinced wherever we stop, the great restaurant is the next stop.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm always like, okay, let's hold on, because there's something really good
Something
up
better.
ahead.
I know your pain. Yeah. That's a terrible
It typically
feeling.
doesn't happen until everybody's hungry and angry.
Right. That's the thing. You don't want everybody to get upset, because when you get to that point, the hangriness comes out. It's like, try to avoid that.
All right. So let's say I have a friend who's a wealthy investor, and he can write you a check, and you guys never have to work another day in your life. But to accept this check, you also cannot make music ever again. Could you
Oh.
take it?
No.
No.
Maybe.
Dustin.
Like, I don't think it's any way possible. Like, you can't even like touch a guitar again, kind of a thing.
No, you got to let this all go.
No.
But like
I
even
couldn't
at
do
home
it.
by yourself, like
You-
you're just not allowed to ever play.
You're putting more thought into the question.
First of all, I'd like to know why
There's
you're.
levels.
First of all, I'd like to know why you're. Is your friend like anti-Jesus? He doesn't want to sing.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing this for?
He's an atheist rapper,
what's
and he
the
doesn't
motive?
want anything to do with
Trying to buy
Sanctus
us
Real.
out.
I want to know what the motive is. I mean, no.
I just want to know how much like music is like just like when you're not doing it for a living, how much it's part of you.
Oh.
Can I would say, and speaking for me, it's probably more part of me not doing it for a living than it is doing it for a living, because I think, when you're inundated with it all the time, it can feel business-like and it can feel like a job.
Yeah.
And I think it is those moments at home when you just pick up a guitar and play some nostalgic songs or some old songs that don't have anything to do with the business part of it or doing it for a living, is when I actually really love music again. So, to say, hey, I have to do this for a living, that's where my maybe comes in. Like, maybe. But to say that I'd have to stop and never play music again, I'd probably be like, there's no way. It's just not possible.
When talking about like the job part of things for you guys, like what do you do on the days when you just like you're not feeling it, right? You're having a hard time. You got to step on the stage and like encourage hundreds, maybe thousands of people sitting in front of you, and it's like, are you able to turn it on? Do you have that inner conflict sometimes?
I think we lean on each other in those moments, for sure. It'd be really hard if it was just one of us and you're feeling that way. But I think when one of us is dealing with something, or maybe something's going on back home, like we're pretty good about being open about it, I think, and not just keeping it in. Yeah. So I think that's important no matter what you do. But yeah, for us being, some guys who get to be on a stage and share our hearts, it's like you're not always going to have a 100% peachy day. Like, that's just not possible. So you have to learn how to ask for help and lean on your friends, and obviously ask God for the grace to do what He's called you to do. And you're there for a reason, no matter what. Yeah. And so even if it's to tell people that maybe you're having a bad day, maybe that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of it's our job. I say this to people a lot when they ask us how we do it. I'm like, well, I watched my dad work in a factory for 30 years, and he got up at 4 a.m. That's hard,
Yeah.
and he didn't have a choice, right? So our message doesn't change whether I have a good day or bad day. You know, I think that's the thing. It's not based on, you know, trying to keep it where the message that we're always conveying is not based on how we feel, right? So I might be feeling bad, but I can still say the same thing because it's what I believe.
Yeah.
And to not say it would be the opposite of what I believe. And so in some ways it's actually, I think it's helpful. I mean, if you have a bad day and, you know, to really start looking at other people's problems and sharing with other people Jesus, a lot of times that's what kind of brings me out of a bad day. And I go, hey, this is a wonderful purpose. And honestly, this is a wonderful job to be able to share Jesus with people even on a bad day. So,
yeah, I think there's just a special grace upon what we do too. There's been plenty of times over the years that I've been almost just dumbfounded by it because, you know, the longer you do something, the older you get, all those things. Yeah, it does. There is a weariness that can set in. But sure enough, even the days when I'm most exhausted from a 4 a.m. flight or whatever, you know, it's like, I don't know, something just clicks on once we get with the people and get on the stage and start singing our songs. It's just this, it's like God's presence and power just shows up and enables regardless.
Cool. You guys have been at this a while. Career's seen highs, lows. I'm sure. What's still on your bucket list, like career-wise or personal life? Like, what's that thing you still want to see happen?
You know, we're about to do one really cool bucket list thing here soon. We get to play for the first time at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, really?
So that'll be fun. But kind of in that same vein, I've always wanted to play Red Rocks out in Denver, or just outside of Denver, Colorado. So yeah, that's one for me.
See, my bucket list is to go to Red Rocks. So if you make this happen, can I get an invite?
Yeah, sure. It's carpool. It'll be great.
I can't think of any like career bucket lists other than, you know, we're kind of living a dream right now. But my bucket list is to go to England and attend a Premier League game.
Oh.
And maybe we'll have a show in England, and you know, I can knock out all the things. And
that's a great one.
I know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. So that's always been my on my bucket list.
All right, big soccer fan.
Yeah.
Or do you call it football?
It depends on who I'm with.
Okay. We're lucky enough to have like a great soccer team in the city now.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have never followed MLS until a couple years ago, and I started watching a little bit of the Nashville team. Yeah. Nashville SC. But I've always been a big, these guys will tell you, probably bigger than people realize, Premier League fan. And it's a wonderful weekend experience for me because the games are in the morning. And so when we're on the road, it's kind of my little getaway. I'll watch a couple games during the day. It's great. Cool. And everybody in America's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Bucket list?
Yeah.
That's a good one because Red Rocks is definitely a place I'd love to play. We've played at the Gorge Amphitheater in Washington, which is equally as beautiful place, but probably not quite as iconic. I would say, we were talking about this earlier, it's kind of funny. I'll just be honest about this conversation we're having.
That's what the Campfire does.
I figured we're here. We're here. So just over a year ago, one of our songs went gold. It was certified gold. First time ever for the band. And so I don't know if anybody knows this, but you see gold plaques, you know, that artists and radio stations have. They don't just give those to you. Like, you have to buy them. You have to have them made and designed and actually go through the whole process. So we did, and the ones we got were fairly large because we were first timers. You know, we were like celebrating and we were joking because we might have another song going gold here very soon. And the joke around the table this morning was, let's not get as large of plaques this time around. And then after that, it was like, who are we even having this conversation right now? Like, could you imagine 5 years ago or 8 years ago when Dustin joined, having a conversation like this and having it actually be real?
Yeah.
It's just, so, who would have thought? but it's pretty funny still.
20,
So we're
20 songs from now, you got like just like the
Yeah,
CD stapled to the
yeah,
wall.
Right.
exactly. Yep. No frame.
Well, that gold, and you said that gold might be going platinum soon too. So,
I mean, these
man,
are crazy things. So.
Who are we?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Working at Joy FM, we get a lot of artists that come by here, and we get to know them a little bit, but we don't get to know them like you guys get to know them, right? Like
Okay.
you get to see them, when they're not putting on the show
Right.
or putting on best behavior. So my question for you guys is, you each have to pick one Joy FM artist that you take on the road with you. Now, they don't have to perform. They don't have to be part of the show. They're just there on the bus, in the van, hanging out with you guys through the day in, day out, sort of like the honorary member of Sanctus Real. Who would you choose?
Man, I already know who somebody's going to say at some point.
You better go first.
Yeah, you go for it. Take it.
This past year, we've taken out Timmons on
Okay.
a few tours, and that guy, I don't care if he's singing songs, playing guitar, or what. Just him being in a room and hanging out is just the most fun experience all the time.
Wow.
He's hilarious. He's always like upbeat, and Timmons, he's a great guy.
He is.
Okay, Tim's off the board. We gotta have new
man.
choices.
So, it's a harder question than you think, because there's like guys I'm like, hey, for like spiritual conversations
Yeah.
or depth, I'll
Yeah.
take that guy. But then that gets heavy after a while and a little old, and you're
Right.
like, can you laugh?
Yeah.
You know? And now that I said that, I probably shouldn't say any names because they're going to be offended. Sorry, guys.
It's just us and the Campfire. Nobody's ever gonna
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Until you put it out.
There's no cameras. There's no cameras here.
Do you have one? You can come back to me. Do you have one?
Yeah, I'll go. Why not? I'll say Jason Gray.
I knew you were going to say
You
Jason.
knew, didn't you? Yeah. I love that guy. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's funny, and he can go deep.
He is.
I agree.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
a good
Jason.
one.
And he's been on our bus before, way back in
Yeah.
the day. But it's time to do it again. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know this person very well. I've only met him a couple times, but every time I have, I am always like, that's a legit person. Mac Powell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we'd probably be honorary members of his bands, but
Yeah.
let's keep that around.
Good
But
dude.
That's a good
yeah,
one.
he's always been fun.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
One last question. You guys on the road pretty consistently. I'm not even trying to be funny. Do you know what city you roll into? Or is you just step off the bus and it's like another day? Like you get your instructions in? I mean, I kind of wanted to ask, like, does St. Louis have any like special meaning to you guys? But I don't even know if you like, do you have the time in a city to develop like special connection to things? Or is it just like you're on stage and you go?
Yeah.
Well,
It does depend, I think, on the schedule of the day. More
Yeah.
often than not, it really is. You just kind of roll in. You're in show mode all day, and then you roll out.
Yeah.
But
Where were we a few weeks ago? We were on East Coast, Ocean.
New Jersey.
Was it Ocean City?
yeah.
The
Ocean
fact
City.
that you
I
started
remember.
with where were
Right,
we
yeah, that's it.
answers that question.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yes. To answer your question,
Like, that was a beautiful spot.
It was only a couple weeks ago, and I actually had my wife and my son with me on that show, and I never got out really to see anything. They did, and we had a long sound check, and they kind of rolled right into showtime. So they got to go see the ocean, and we didn't, which is very typical. Like a lot of times you get to these places where, you're on the West Coast or you're East Coast or wherever, and you don't even see like the main attraction.
Yeah.
You're just there. Then you go back to the hotel, and you fly out, and that's that.
Because most people's perception is probably like, oh, you get to go to all these places and see all these things. but-
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
You do and you don't.
we do get to see. We try to build space in when
Yeah.
it's someplace that has something special. St. Louis has something special for me. I lived here for 6 months when I was 23 years old.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
And it was the worst 6 months of my life.
Oh, no.
And it had nothing to do with St. Louis. So
Okay.
it's not like St. Louis is terrible. It's just the situation that I walked into was not an easy one. And but yeah, it's always funny because this place left a mark on me. Great. And every time I come here, I'm like, oh boy. Also, before I joined the band, I spent a few years as an Edward Jones investment advisor.
No kidding.
Which is really weird.
Did you do that when you when you were in St. Louis, or
Yes.
not?
Well,
Yeah.
no, not while I was in there, but all that, Edward Jones is here.
Yeah.
And so all that training, I had to come down, some of the hardest training, and they were not easy. Everything I've ever done that's super difficult was in St. Louis. So thank you, St.Louis. I love
But you
guys.
came back for
of
more.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
It made me. We're around a campfire, right?
Right.
It made me the man I am today. The struggles, the hurts. Most of my songs actually come back to St. Louis in some form. People don't realize this. They think it's no, it's all St. Louis. Everything I am
So
today.
you should probably pay some extra like royalty taxes to St.
they
Louis.
should
Is that
pay
what you're
me.
saying?
They should definitely. They should pay me.
Won't Let Me Go is actually about St. Louis, and we just keep pulling them back here.
Can't get away.
It's true.
That's funny.
Well, guys, I appreciate you hanging out today, being the first ones to sit down by the campfire.
How do we do?
Yeah.
Is this
this all right?
Is it going to work? Are you
How did
gonna
it
do
feel to
again?
you guys?
A little scary.
It's a great
No, it was
campfire.
awesome.
It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's
Can
just
you
right.
put some cricket noises in later? Okay, sweet. Then we're good.
There'll be comets flying over
Yeah,
us. I
oh,
mean, you
yeah.
won't believe the things you saw when this is all done.
I can't wait.
I would love next time if there was like sticks with marshmallows on them.
Oh yeah.
That should be a must. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
S'mores.
but
Good idea.
this is constructive criticism, not.
And a skateboard half.
I like the
Yes.
Put it all down.
Yeah.
I like there's no smoke and flowing into our faces and getting in our eyes.
But I
though.
do.
That's nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
But we need the smell.
Maybe like a candle.
Yeah, you need to get the
candle.
campfire
We're
smell.
like going to give you
happening.
guys a list of how to make this feel more.
Occasionally, I'll
Yeah. Could you
We need the
release a few mosquitoes
sound
in here?
of a bug
I
zapper
hear,
going.
I hear Bill Gates is creating them in a lab. You could just bring some mosquitoes.
Well, truly, I didn't know how this was going to go. I was a little intimidated by the whole concept and meeting you guys for the first time in such a way. You guys have made it fun, so I appreciate it.
Right on.
Thank you.
Anytime.